Welcome everybody to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, I talk about 4 different types of freedom: time, financial, location, and health freedom. And in that light, I'm always scouring the globe, interviewing entrepreneurs, executives, leaders who are on the cutting edge, influencing the thought and the narrative and bringing those conversations to you. So today we have actually from Italy, Miss Angela Santi, and she's the Dolce Vita Leadership Consultant. So she's going to talk about all about her company, her business, her work. She works with executives, entrepreneurs in a consultant and leadership role, and I'll let her introduce herself. So Angela, welcome.
Hi, Christopher. I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, you have an interesting take. Well, really, I think the European model is much healthier. You talk, you're fiercely protective of your craft, and that art is the science behind the good life. And tell us more about how you got started, and we'll go from there.
So first off, I would like to confirm that the European model is healthier, and the Italian is even healthier as the European, and we also have the Mediterranean diet, so it's the top of the top of how I started. It's a very interesting because I started my practice, my own business, not because I wanted, but because I had to. And now I go backward a little bit. I'm telling you a little bit about my background. So I'm Italian by birth, and I like to say cosmopolitan by vocation because I love travel, but most I love to connect, to know other people, and to get to know other cultures, which is something that I've done for all my teens and the first part of my life until I've ended the university. I have a degree in English and American literature and linguistics, which brought me to travel a lot. So, and this is a very important part of my background, which I bring into my Dolce Vita methodology, what I've learned from literature and also from linguistic, connecting the dots. The second part of my life that I want to bring here is when I finished the university, as my family is a multi-generational entrepreneur. At the time when I finished the university, they had a 9-figure business in the automotive dealership, car distribution, all the luxury, cool, the Mercedes, Maserati, all the beautiful cars. And of course, I went working there as HR and organizational development consultant, which was something that was very aligned to my talents. The quality of life, my Dolce Vita, the Dolce Vita is the sweet life, the good life. The quality of my life before going there was fantastic inside out. Okay, I could do whatever I wanted, live according to my rhythm, fantastic. When I went working in the family business in corporate, it was fantastic on the outside. I had all the cool life, the cocktails and the things and the good cars and, all the fantastic opportunities. But inside, it wasn't as fantastic because first off, I'm a high achiever, A-type, and, being there, I wanted to really show and, to show up at my best. But it was the beginning of the 90s, and I had no role model to be inspired. So, actually, no feminine role models that were more aligned to who I am. So I started copying the masculine way, the go, and, like the workaholic. So, for instance, talking about healthy life, I stopped taking lunch break because all the meetings were during lunch breaks and we were eating those terrible sent paninos, and I started having all sort of, problems with my stomach and things, etc. So I said, something is not working, but I wasn't doing anything really aside from starting to practice yoga at lunchtime, and I was sneaking because I was feeling very guilty for not being at the meetings.
Mm.
So I was sneaking out the back door, like, I'm meeting outside, telling all the lies because I didn't want anyone to discover that I was doing something for myself. Okay. So I wasn't really feeling bad because there was a misalignment. I was betraying my values and who I am, doing nothing. So 2008 came, Lehman Brothers collapsed, the subprime crisis, then the whole world collapsed, and at the end of 2009, the company collapsed. And all of a sudden, I found myself without, like, jobless, with no identity, because I was so much identifying myself with my role, with my job, with my company.
Mm.
And I really didn't know what to do. So, long story short, I don't tell you what happened exactly, but I had the choice, to play the victim or to walk on, to take on this challenge and to do something for myself. Because I said, I've lost all the external assets, the material asset, but what I have is my knowledge, my experience, all the soft skills. And for me, it was the opportunities to go back to something or to go forward, to create something that could bring me the quality of life that I wanted. So I started my own business, hoping that it could be at my own term. But at the beginning, it wasn't. When you're starting a business, well, it's like you're climbing a mountain, so you don't have a lot of Dolce Vita or sweet life, but you need that because it's something that you want to create. So I was excited. I started working for consultancy companies as an independent contractor. Still, I wasn't having the life that I want, the lifestyle that I wanted, because I was thrown up and down Italy, like commuting all the time. And I was approaching my 50th birthday, and I said, you know what? Now I did it once and I will do it again. I will start over and pivoted all my business online to have a better life quality so that I could be the owner of my time, of like to incorporate all that I preach and I teach, the exercise and the food and the stop and slowing down, etc., in my own practice. And everything was expanded with the pandemic, which is giving us even more opportunities because we know that we are all connected. And because there is this phenomenon of the great resignation, finally, people are discovering the quality of their life.
Yeah, very fascinating journey. What you're describing. This hustle culture is very common in Western, and it's looks like it moved. But what's interesting is you have this idea of becoming the leader that people want to follow and the world needs. How did you become that?
That by becoming what I called a Dolce Vita leader. So who is a Dolce Vita leader? The Dolce Vita leader, and by the way, again, the Dolce Vita is the sweet life. It's the Italian way of living, and it's not only a behavior, it's a philosophy of living, and it's an approach to all aspects of life that makes you be committed and yet lighthearted, to be serious but not too like hard and that, and to never postpone pleasure. Pleasure is a component of the Dolce Vita. So you become this Dolce Vita leader, a human-centric leader. So to do that, to become a leader that people want to follow, you have to show up and be authentic and be at your best. So you have to embrace the Dolce Vita into your life in order to bring the Dolce Vita into your companies, because we're always talking about people should think out of the box. They have to adopt a growth mindset. But if you stress people all the time, if you ask people to stay inside that box all the time and never go out, they will put, blinders on and see only what's in the box. And if they are stressed, their brain will not work properly and it will not expand because you are, leading in fear and control and command. So you want to create this relaxed, but not too relaxed.
Yeah.
Sort of the Italian, way. We are very productive when we want to be productive, but there is always a good time for aperitivo. And, at the end of the day, let's join and have a prosecco, and then tomorrow is another day, and let's go on. So this is the sort of the mentality. So how as a leader you do that? So you bring into the culture, this company, the company culture where people feel seen, they feel trusted, they are empowered. You stop controlling, you delegate, and you do that by walking the talk. So I have pioneered this idea of the Vita model, which is Vita is an acronym for Vitality, Illumination, Techniques, and Assets. So vitality is the organizational well-being, everything that assures that your employees, your staff are having a fantastic company experience, that they are happy to come to work, and it's a day-to-day work. It's not like I call a consultant to fix the whole things and then it's their own business. No, it's your business. So then we have the I is illumination. Illumination is what lights them up, meaning that you put the right person in the right role. So you starting from the enrolling process. You want to assess that the people that are coming to you are aligned with your values, but also that the company knows what their people are looking for when they come working for you, which is generally to fulfill a dream. It's not only, like to make the difference at work. So how can the company help them fulfill their dream? Why they help you fulfill your dream as an entrepreneur? And then we have the techniques that are all the tools, and processes and, strategies to implement all that. And the assets are your people and their skill set, not only the technical, but more and more the soft skills and the personal skills. Mm-hmm. To do that and to sound authentic, you have to embody it in your own life. Okay, yeah. So it's always the two sides that are intertwined.
Yeah, interesting. I like how you incorporate these principles and you use that as a kind of a framework for building an organization. One thing is I'm curious about is what are the qualities of leaders of the new area? And you talk about incorporating idleness in our routines. Tell us more.
Idleness is a swear word in English, but in Italian it's not, because we come from the Romans, and the ancient Romans built the largest empire by alternating, idleness and battles. So now battles, we don't do battles anymore, but the business battles, we use all those metaphor of the battles, So really, idleness is something that you need to incorporate in your routines, because it's the part of your routine from where you take your energy, and the part of your routine where you let things percolate, you detach from the day to day, you go off the hamster wheel. When you go back to work, you have a clearer sight, you have a more detached sight. You're not triggered, you're not, you don't make your decisions, by stress, etc. You gain perspective. So in the classic word, they say, in medio virtus in Latin, which means the virtue is in the middle. So balancing action and inaction all the time. Oh. And this is a must. I don't coax. I force my clients to take, this idleness moment, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, but they are important and they incorporate them more and more and more. And then this leader of the new era is the human-centric leader, is a leader who understand that the people that work for them are human beings and want to connect from them, from human being and to human being. They also understand that they can be vulnerable, although vulnerable is a word that many leaders don't like. I've been a leader as well, and I was like, I'm not vulnerable, I'm a leader, and I'm this macho. But I was vulnerable, and I couldn't share it with anyone because you are lonely at the top. You need to have somebody to share it. And when you share it, again, and you have somebody that, is a mirror for you, you are even a better leader because we have doubt. We are human beings and you have to accept it. Okay. So when a leader does the inner work, more and more and more, they're able to lead better because they understand that the way they show up, if they are really impactful leader, determines how the other people react. So you want to analyze yourself, and your behavior to understand why the other people are behaving that way. It's not always their fault or, sometimes it's your responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very fascinating discussion. And thank you for coming on to the show to, describe these leadership principles. Like I said, Western culture, is very different than European. And so I like these overarching themes, and, you're very based on values and core values. How can people follow you, visit your website and contact you?
So they can follow me on LinkedIn, and I'm always happy to connect, or visit my website. It's www.angelasanti.it, like Italian. And in my website, they will find a free resource, which is a very quick, it's a quiz, it's an assessment to determine how much Dolce Vita they're bringing into their leadership style, and what are there are certain parts, how they will show up, and what are the consequences, and what are the priorities to address. So it's a very quick and very nice intuitive work to do.
Yeah. And for all of the listeners out there, audience, Angela dropped a lot of nuggets of wisdom and experience. Be sure to check out her social media on LinkedIn, check out her website, her free resources. Those will be in the links in show notes. And so thanks so much. And thanks for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you, Christopher. I hope I inspired your listeners, and I'm here to connect with everyone who would like to have a chat. Ciao.